It was election day across Texas, and today so many people came out and casted their ballots. Some of the school districts in our area were asking voters to shape the future of their schools. So tonight we are going to start with Midway ISD. Taking a look at Midway's Proposition A, it was worth more than $76 million for district construction, land purchases, and renovations. We do want to tell you that only early voting numbers are in McLennan County, so right now Midway ISD Prop A has 62%.
Yeah, anything could happen here. Let's go ahead and switch over to Midway's Proposition B. They were asking in this proposition for $1.3 million for modernizing extracurricular facilities, and according to early voting, it's a 59% for it, 41% against it, so we'll continue to monitor that score.
And Midway's Proposition C was asking for $6.5 million in buying and updating instructional technology equipment. Right now, 60% of the vote has 40% against.
So Midway ISD looked to its voters at the polls today to approve $83.5 million in funding across all the propositions.
And the propositions focused on the deferred maintenance, safety, and technology and other needs the district considers critical, everything we just talked about. 6 News anchor Adrian Carbajal met with Midway ISD superintendent. What did he have to tell you, Adrian?
Yeah, Lindsay Bailey, Midway ISD Superintendent Dr. Chris Allen told me that more than 4,000 people had cast an early ballot either through mail-in or through the early voting opportunities on these three propositions so far. Earlier this year, Midway ISD's Board of Trustees unanimously approved a total of $83.5 million spread out across the three propositions. The propositions focus on deferred maintenance, safety and technology, and other needs the district considers critical. Midway ISD Superintendent Dr. Chris Allen says the hope for today was for a robust voter turnout, and says due to today's results, Midway ISD will be able to ensure better and more equitable education for all of its students.
What the passage of this bond means is that we're going to be able to take some steps in the directions of more equitable experiences for all of our young people. We have a roof that's leaking on one of our campuses. It needs a whole new roof. We have all sort of this types of work that needs to be done around the campuses, and we'll be able to give our older, more aged facilities the facelift they need so that our kids can come to school every day and focus on learning, and really it puts our teachers in a great position to be successful as well.
Yeah, Allen noted that it is important to always invest back into the youth, and thanks those that supported Midway ISD to always make the right decisions by their children. And as you guys mentioned earlier, these numbers are not official yet, but when talking to Allen earlier, he did say that it was about 60% in favor for all of these propositions, and he expects them all to be passed. Reporting in Woodway, Adrian Carbajal, 6 News. Back to you guys.
Yeah, of course, we'll have to just wait and see what those final numbers are going to be. But Adrian, thank you so much. Meantime, let's switch over now to Belton ISD. Their Proposition A asked voters for nearly $93 million. It's designated for the general fund and modernization of 4 campuses within the district, including Belton Middle School. You can see those numbers, 52% for, 48% against. However, there's only just under 40% of precincts reporting so far.
Meanwhile, Proposition B is for $43.7 million for the construction of a stadium at Lake Belton High School and upgrades to Tiger Field. Right now, Proposition B, with 40% of the vote, is failing with 60%. We're going to keep watching this one closely.
Belton's Prop C was for $6 million to spend on technology by updating student and staff devices. This one, 55% for, 45% against, but of course it's still early and we'll be waiting for those final totals.
And Belton's Proposition D was for $19 million on upgrades to the swim center, including additional pool space and locker room upgrades. This one also currently failing with 56% of the vote. Only 40% of the votes are in, so we'll keep watching that one as well. It's really a close call for all 4 of Belton ISD's bond propositions, with each measure coming down to just a few hundred votes, separating the for and against sides. And people were at the polls until the last minute to get their votes in the Bell County.
6 News anchor Adriana Alexander is live now in Belton tonight and has a breakdown of what voters have decided on so far. Adriana?
Well, as you guys mentioned, Propositions A and C look like they may be voted for, and Propositions B and D look like they'll be voted against. But let's look into the two propositions that are having high numbers as of right now to vote for. For Proposition C, Belton ISD students and staff will have the chance to use improved technology and upgraded devices at a handful of Belton ISD schools. The district will also be able to pay for much needed security upgrades to some of the schools because of Proposition A, if that does pass. Superintendent Dr. Melinda Golden told us last month that this will include installing safety fencing for all of the district's elementary schools and installing cameras to most of the schools as well. And this is something one Belton ISD parent says she is glad to see happen very soon.
I'm excited that some of the schools are getting the upgrades because as a parent, you want your child to be safe. You want to feel like, your child is safe, especially with everything that's going on in the schools. It's just, it's a kind of like a sigh of relief to have more security in the schools.
Now, again, those final numbers aren't in, but these are just the early voting numbers. Taxes will slightly increase for taxpayers in Belton, and if you're a homeowner over the age of 65, that will not apply for you. Now, as for the other two propositions, Propositions B and D, which targeted upgrades for Belton ISD, if those do not pass, then the school will have to find other funding to make those projects happen. But we will, again, continue to follow this as we learn more. For now, in Belton, Adriana Alexander, 6 News.
Adriana, thank you, and we will keep you updated on election results. We're going to step away from it for just a quick moment and check your weather forecast.
Chief Meteorologist Matt Farrell is standing by. For once, you've got your numbers. They're in, and they're not so bad.
No, not bad at all. You've seen it already in our live shots so far. I mean, it's a gorgeous night across central Texas. I mean, if you look at the temperatures right now, we're seeing things a little bit, basically right where they're supposed to be for this time of the year. Right at 60 degrees right now here in Temple. South winds there at about 7 miles per hour. So again, not a whole lot to complain about there weather-wise in Temple and really not across central Texas as a whole. 59 right now in Hamilton, 62 in San Saba, 60 from Marlin to Temple to Killeen, 65 still up in Hillsboro. So a little bit of a spread in the temperatures right now, but most of us hovering right around 60 degrees here in the 10 o'clock hour, and we'll fall just a little bit further as we head through the rest of the night. Going to go with the lower to middle 50s. If you noticed, we had a little bit of a south breeze today, brought in just a little bit more moisture, and that's going to keep us in those middle 50s rather than getting down to those upper 40s that we've been seeing the last couple of nights. And then for tomorrow, it's actually going to be just a little bit warmer, and in fact, that trend is going to continue through the rest of the week. Tomorrow is not the last day in the 80s that I have for you. So coming up in your full weather forecast, we'll talk about what the rest and talk about tonight's supermoon.
All right, Matt, thanks so much. Let's get back to some election night results. If you are living in Copperas Cove, listen up. We have some results for you. So far, of course, 35% is reporting at this time, so things could change, but it looks like a handful of propositions on the ballot tonight. Prop A was asking for $142 million to renovate Copperas Cove High School and several other campuses, and so far overwhelmingly that has been voted for with 63%.
Proposition B was for $12 million for expansion to their fine arts facilities and lockers room. So far, that is looking like it's passing with 55% of the vote. We want to go ahead and move on to Proposition C. That was for $11 million for artificial turf on practice fields and an open air pavilion. That also slim margin there with 51% of the vote. I do want to add we got a statement from Copperas Cove ISD Superintendent saying tonight's results show that our community is looking to reset a standard for educational facilities. So it seems as Copperas Cove ISD is already calling this a win.
Moving on to Temple ISD, they had two propositions on the ballot with a lot on the line. Their Proposition A is a tax increase that would pay for 10 additional police officers within the district. And even with 39% reporting overwhelmingly, the voters so far approving of that, 62% in favor of it. Temple's Proposition B is for $119 million to expand Temple High School and a handful of other campuses, including making a permanent space for their special education program. And so far, that's at 59% in favor.
Voters across Texas were having to have their say on 17 state constitutional amendments. Our first one tonight, State Proposition 1, would create funding to the TSTC system. That one is passing by a large margin right now with 69% of the vote.
State Proposition 3 would require the denial of bail under certain circumstances. It's a highly controversial proposition, a lot of debate on both sides, and it would include violent felonies. Some folks would not receive bail, and it has been so far voted in 64% in favor of it.
State Proposition 4 would create a state water fund and a revenue source for it. Another hot topic right now, Texas's water sources. Right now, this is passing by a very, very large margin of 71% for that proposition.
Turning now to State Proposition 11, overwhelmingly, yeah, you don't want to pay any more taxes than you possibly have to. This proposition increases the exemption of property taxes for people 65 years or older, likely going to pass.
And finally, State Proposition 14 would create the Dementia Prevention and Research Institute of Texas and fund it with $3 billion from the state's general revenue. Right now, that one also passing with 68% of the vote.